Ladies, gentlemen, welcome to TNN News Raw. Your host, Tom. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to TNN News Raw. We got some breaking news. We actually had this news when I got up this morning, but I was trying to find the best way to do it. So now you're going to get it the next morning as I found out more information about it. Remember the story out of Miami of the teen who committed suicide live on live stream? Remember the fact that she was in foster care and had been in foster care in 14 different foster cares in 16 months? Different houses in 16 months. Remember how her mother, this woman here, got on television and cried, and I called her out, and people looked at me like I was crazy. I said, this woman don't give a shit about her kid. This woman had nothing to do with her kid. This is another BT 1000 seeking for attention and hoping to get paid off of a daughter that she had nothing to do with. Remember how people talked shit about me back in January when I did it? Well, guess what happened? Today, we find out that I was 100% correct in my assessment of this woman and how she felt about her kid. Information has come to light that not only did this woman not give a shit about this little girl, but she joined in on the Facebook live stream where she murdered herself, and she egged her on to do it. Here's a story right now coming out of CBS. Fair use.
New tonight, a grieving mother told us the state didn't do enough to prevent her daughter's suicide. The state says neither did the mother. In fact, they say the mother watched the suicide on Facebook Live and even egged her daughter on. CBS 4's Carrie Codd has more of the jaw-dropping accusations. Carrie.
7 weeks ago, I sat in a conference room in a lawyer's office in the building behind me. I listened to Naika Venant's mother criticize DCF for not doing enough to prevent her daughter.
Make sure I let you guys know this is fair use. I can use this clip because it's illustrating what I'm talking about. It as I'm going to further discuss it after the clip. But this is for the factual part of the clip. The purposes of this is to show that this factually happened and that other news outlets are reporting it before I continue to speak about it. Go ahead, sir.
Daughter's very public suicide. Tonight, in a newly released report from DCF, the agency is saying the same thing about the mother.
This is fair use.
The public suicide on Facebook Live of Naika Venant while she was
just like how they use these photos from this girl's Facebook page. Just fair use.
In foster care.
Maybe we need to sue down we need to flag down the news report.
Continues to reverberate through Florida's child welfare system. This report, released late Monday afternoon by DCF, sheds new light on Naika's case and what DCF believes was her mother's role in the suicide. The report alleges that Gina Kays, Naika's mother, was following Naika while she was on Facebook Live for the 2 hours that preceded.
So you don't have a house to put your kid in, but you got a way to reach on Facebook and follow her and talk shit to her. That makes sense.
Her suicide, and that during that time she wrote things that could be considered mentally injurious to her suicidal child and failed to seek help for her daughter. Specifically, DCF cited this post on the Facebook feed, allegedly from Naika's mom. It reads, "You keep crying wolf. You dead. You will get buried. Life goes on after a young person that doesn't listen to their parents, trying to be grown, seeking boys and girls' attention instead of her books."
Trying to be grown, seeking boys and girls' attention instead of her books. Well, your bitch ass, if you had not been seeking dick, her daddy would be somewhere around, but you don't have one around. If you had been trying to keep your mind on the right thing, then you wouldn't have had the little girl in the first place. And therefore, you spoke to this little girl like that while you didn't have the ability to place her in a nice, safe home. You bitch, you.
Stacey Schmerling is one of the attorneys for Naika's mother. She takes issue with both allegations.
The mother was absolutely not online at any time during her daughter's suicide. The statement that is attributed to Naika's mother was made after Naika was already deceased.
Hold the motherfucking phone. Did her lawyer just try to explain that the stuff happened after the little girl was dead? And so that should make it better. It wasn't like she was saying it while the girl was killing herself. It was after she was dead. Let's hear this again.
statement that is attributed to Naika's mother was made after Naika was already deceased, but Naika's mother was told that it was all a hoax, that the suicide was a hoax and her daughter was not deceased.
So you were told that the suicide was a hoax and you didn't go check on this yourself. Instead, you got on Facebook and wrote a dumbass comment that nobody would care if she killed herself. Even if you thought it was a hoax, why would you write a statement publicly to a daughter in which you should have had access to privately, writing up there that, well, if you do die, nobody's gives a damn. Life will move on.
The allegations from DCF are in stark contrast to the emotion we saw from Naika's mother in the days after her daughter died.
You want to bet? I told y'all this was the black women got the driest eyes possible. The Terminator cannot cry. It just can't.
I'm sick and devastated.
Fake ass crime.
Naika and her mom had a complicated history. Her mother
They didn't have one.
lost custody, got her back, then lost custody again.
Just like a black bitch. Can't keep a kid. Don't really give a shit.
There are allegations that Naika was sexually abused in foster care by a teenage boy and began acting out sexually. Schmerling says Naika's mom routinely told Naika's case manager that her...
Not a tear in this woman's eyes. Not a tear.
acting out sexually. Schmerling says Naika's mom routinely...
Dry as fuck. How do your eyes be that dry when you just found out that your daughter did she kill herself? But you do see a payday coming from the state that had to take care of your kid because you couldn't or wouldn't.
He told Naika's case manager that her daughter was using social media in violation of a court order, but it was to no avail. The report says Naika told a caseworker prior to her suicide that her mother no longer wanted her, but Schmerling says that's not true.
At no point would she have said that she
When she had to take that deep ass swallow, that means she just lied.
doesn't want to have any type of relationship with her daughter.
Now, the attorney for Naika's mother says Naika was shuttled between 14 different foster homes over 9 months and that none of those homes provided the kind of care that she needed.
You mean like the home she came from, the womb she came from, didn't provide the type of care that she needed? But it's the state's job?
DCF says they're trying to learn from Naika's case. They're providing more mental health training for employees, teaching foster parents about social media usage by kids, and also making sure there are enough specialized therapeutic homes in the area.
Let me ask you a question. What about all the niggas who knew this girl? What about all the people who understood that this girl was online doing what she was doing? What about them? Anybody got an answer for that? What about them if they were there and they knew who she was and they knew where she was? Why didn't any of them call the police? Why didn't any of them do anything to stop what was going on? Why is that? Nobody wants to talk about that, black folks? Black folks? No? Well, Miss Gina Alexis, her 14-year-old daughter, Gina Craze, but she goes by the name of Gina Alexis. Her name is Kays. She goes by Gina Alexis, though. Is trying to get paid off of her daughter's death. And as I told you guys, black women like children for 2 reasons. They get paid when they're born and they get paid when they die. They're trying to make it seem like the lawyer is that her statement was okay because she thought her daughter was playing. How many of you think that statement was okay because she thought the daughter was playing? The 14-year-old girl stated she felt like since her mother doesn't want her, she's going to age out of foster parenting, foster homes, and then be thrown to the streets and have nowhere to live. Let me read you some more of what the mother said. You can go to my website and see more of what the mother said. The mother said, hashtag ADHD games played, you sad little DCF custody jit, is what she wrote. That's a southern thing about to call him a child, a jit. And she called her own child a sad little DCF custody jit. So you made fun of your child for being in custody of DCF, but she's in custody because of you. You know Just like black women love to tell their children, you look like your ugly ass daddy. When if you hadn't have fucked my ugly ass daddy, there's no way I would look like my ugly ass daddy. But you want to make me feel bad for looking like my ugly ass daddy when you fucked and sucked my ugly ass daddy's dick. That's why that's why you were at. See, they didn't read all this shit. This is what she wrote, her non-writing ass, non-English speaking or spelling ass. These black women are so disgusting. They write English the way they say it. That's why you where you at. For you dumb shit. And more you keep crying wolf, you dead. You will get buried. Life goes on after a jit that doesn't listen to their parents, trying to be grown, seeking boys and girls' attention instead of their books. And see, they didn't read it that way. The white people tried to clean it up. You go to my website, you'll see what this bitch wrote. The fact is, you got this little girl who's been in foster care since, I think, 2009. And since 2009, the one thing that we all can agree on is she had a shitty mother who gave no fucks about her. And even in death, the shitty mother gave no fucks about her. Now, you got a lot of people right now that had a problem with what I said. My words have not caused the death of anyone. This woman actions before and after her daughter died. Her actions before caused the kid's death. Nobody's going to go fuck with her. Nobody's going to make sure she don't make no money. Nobody going to chop her down the side. Nobody going to look up her past, her career. They're going to do any of that. But me, the person who reports on it correctly, instead of the people who report on it incorrectly, I ended up, no matter what word I said about this woman, I was just like I've been on pretty much 95% of the stuff I've reported on was 100% correct. The woman who got mad at me for saying that she had this kind of history, I ain't never been no jail, ended up being in jail. Name the last story in which what I said about the people just ended up, I just made it up and I was 100% wrong. The things I said of why they do it and what you should expect was, this nigga was wrong. This does not happen. If this doesn't happen, the next question has to be why. But we don't want to ask the question why, because there's no reason. The great thing about this is you either like what I do or you don't. You don't have to watch it. But as a black man, I would be remiss, and I think that I would have wasted my voice, which I gained doing this. I will have wasted it if I decide not to speak about the horrors of growing up under single black mothers, about the things that we don't tell the rest of the world, that black mothers are doing to their children and their communities. No, it's not 100% of black women. It's not even 90, but it's way too damn many for me to try to parse out. Oh, don't say black women, say 20% or small. No. Jackass boys Watkins would like you to believe it's a sliver of black women. Well, I wouldn't have as much work as I got, and they wouldn't have to false flag me if it was so few black women. They wouldn't have to go to these news agencies and get the news agencies to flag my stuff down if what I was saying was wrong. But that's what they got to do. The thing about the truth is you can't flag it down. You can't hide it under a bushel, as the Bible says. You cannot hide a fire, a flame under a bushel. It will consume it. The more I put out here what you're actually seeing, to let you know that the black community isn't like how Jesse Williams tried to tell you, all these magical great black people who are being oppressed by white people. No. It's all these magical great black people who are being oppressed by the woman who bore them. The worst stewards of children, black women. The people who care nothing about the seeds that they produce. Because if they did, their seeds wouldn't have to go through what they're going through now. Tommy Sotomayor. Fuck you and good night.